It is very important to know when to pivot, especially creatively, but really in any dynamic, romantically, platonically, professionally, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, knowing when to pivot and making consistency look easier for you is key. And that is why I'm personally pivoting my business from sewing so much. I really want to focus on like wellness and art and traveling more. Sewing was kind of like a hobby. Like I picked it up and I tied a profit to it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this to make money. And now that I've done that, I kind of still want to like keep the ball rolling with art and wellness and traveling. And I don't want to get too caught up sitting in the corner of my room sewing things all day. So I am pivoting my business more towards art. And I do have a fashion show vlog coming up. Either way, I'm still selling the pieces I already made, and I'm not like not ever going to sew again. I'm just deciding to focus my time and energy on things that fulfill me the most. And until I have the proper equipment to make sewing easier for me to be consistent with, um, I feel like painting and these sit down talk videos have made showing up a lot easier for me and has made my consistency more impactful. So I know you've heard it from other YouTubers, and I don't care. I'm going to tell you again. It is important to know when to pivot when things aren't working and how to navigate God or the universe's plans and vision for yourself and your visions and your plans. How to know when to rest, how to know when to be productive, when to talk, when to be silent is so important. And I want to start with discipline. And I was watching another video. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, y'all, but I was watching another video that if I can find the link in my history, I will provide you guys with this video because I love the way he talked about discipline as like making it fun and making it like a game almost. But I wanted to add on to what he said and help you reimagine discipline as a point of pivoting. Like, you don't have to be disciplined in the same way as everybody else. Like, discipline is literally just a word. Disciplined is an adjective. Discipline is right, I think. But anyways, I would not focus too much on like trying to appear disciplined and productive to other people, especially if you're not making any real progress in your own life. And that comes with pivoting, knowing when to pivot. So, like in my own business, I'm pivoting because it was becoming harder for me to be consistent with college and my job and other relationships in my life. Right now isn't a time for me to focus on sewing as much. And this makes it easier for me to show up for everything else. And how this can apply to your own life, I feel like we have to reframe what productivity looks like to us. And instead of going on YouTube and searching up like how to make $1,000,000 or how to become a millionaire and then copying their habits and their lifestyle and thinking you'll somewhat get there, but it's not going to be righteously, and it's going to be a lot more resistance than you think, versus like actually learning where to unpack some of your negative habits, how to combat some of your limiting beliefs, and what is really stopping you from being a millionaire by 25. Like, is it God's timing? Does it have anything to do with your discipline, or does it have a lot more to do with how you're taking care of yourself, how you're making it easier for you to show up, what rooms you're in, and who you're talking to, how you're presenting yourself? You see what I'm saying? So when you are trying to plan your life, God literally will laugh in your face. It's so funny because I plan my life all the time. I script, I journal. Like, I love planning my life because I know it, I feel like I know what I want out of life, how I want to feel when I wake up, what I want to spend my time doing. But sometimes we don't consider all of what everything has to offer. And, you know, I was writing down, like, okay, I want to sew, I want my sewing business to grow. But the whole time I wasn't even taking in all of what that consists of with a larger platform by myself. And it consists of a lot of sleepless nights. I wasn't finding enough time outside of sewing and building my sewing business to focus on other things. So that's when I noticed I was becoming inconsistent with posting and inconsistent with art and even like my journaling, because I was like, oh, I really want to sew. Like, I really, no, I didn't have a schedule. I had so many like limiting beliefs and habits that I had to take care of that I have to take care of before considering bringing on something so labor intensive into my schedule. And better late than never, I decided to pivot now, making it easier for yourself to show up, like maybe sleeping in your gym clothes so that you can work out in the morning, or prepping your meals throughout the week if you know you don't have time to cook, or like little stuff. It's like little things that you can kind of, if you take the time to address like what you actually do in a day and write it down and figure out, like, okay, so I see what I'm not doing and I see what I need to do. How can I make it easier for me to do this thing? Because obviously, not everybody can roll out of bed and go running. People are disabled. Not everybody can pick up their pen and start writing. People are blind. So you have to make it easier for yourself to show up. And you can't necessarily take so much advice, and don't even take my advice. I'm just playing. But you can't take so much advice from the internet and other people on how to live your life. Like, those are conversations you need to be having with yourself or with God, and then eventually talking to people that are living lives that are living a life similar to how you want to live your life. So if I want to be a successful artist, I'm not going to necessarily look up how to be a millionaire, because they might have a very different workflow and schedule than me. Like, even though, yes, I want to be a successful artist millionaire, like, let's just say, I'm not going to go on YouTube and copy someone's whole day down to the T and they don't even paint. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to get myself caught up in systems that don't really work for me. So I'm kind of trying to like take advice from people, but also remember to go back to what I think I should do and what God is telling me to do. And that's why I have this video on my channel. Loneliness effortlessly leads to self-love, because when you know yourself and you know how things work, and man, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. Like, when you know yourself, you know how to show up, you know how to talk to people, you know what makes your art stand out, what makes you stand out. You're not in competition with anybody anymore. You're literally just on your own journey. And we have to, as creatives, as human beings, pivot from the idea of this is a competition. There's not enough money out here for me. There's not enough audiences. There's already enough artists. There's nobody cares about none of that. If God put the desire on your heart, it was for a reason.